I accidentally step on a bug and crush it, only for the system to tell me I just slaughtered a dragon. I casually swat a cockroach, and somehow walk away with the godly passive skill, Undying Body. 3 years ago, I was transmigrated into this high martial world, born with mediocre talent and zero ability to cultivate, and saddled with a brain-dead system on top of it all. One day I'm sitting there eating my cheap takeout, when a sharp mechanical voice suddenly blares in my head. Detected King Tier Beast, Void Ironback, threat level SSS rank. Host is advised to flee immediately. What the? I nearly leap out of my chair in shock, but the moment I see what it actually is, I'm completely speechless. It's just a slightly oversized cockroach. Warning, Void Ironback is 0.5 meters from host. Evacuate immediately. Evacuate immediately. The system's voice is drenched in panic and terror. Yeah, right. I always knew that someone like me, a total deadweight, could never get a decent system. Turns out mine is completely blind. I let out a disbelieving laugh. Grab my slipper and bring it down hard. Impossible. Host has one shot at King Tier Beast. I roll my eyes. Are you done? It was just a cockroach. The system completely ignores my protest. Host has successfully slain a King Tier Beast. Congratulations, passive godly skill unlocked, Undying Body. The instant the system finishes speaking, a warm current surges out of nowhere in my core and tears wildly through my meridians. My blocked, withered meridians are forced open by sheer power. I gasp for breath, drenched in sweat, as if I'd just been pulled out of deep water. My job was a library security guard, responsible for the martial arts archives on the 3rd floor. One day, I'm doing my usual rounds when the system chimes in my head again. Warning, ancient beast detected, Abyss Weaver, threat level, SS rank. The silk threads of this creature can slice through space itself. Listening to the system shriek like the end of the world is coming, the corners of my mouth slowly curl into a deeply unhinged grin. I pull out the flyswatter from my belt and eye the purple-spotted spider hanging in its web in the corner of the room. Abyss Weaver, huh? Slices through space, does it? I walk toward the corner, one step at a time. Warning, Abyss Weaver is charging dark matter energy. It's about to open its death domain. Dodge, host, dodge. I scoff. Now that I have the Undying Body, what exactly is there to be afraid of? I take a deep breath, stomp both feet against the floor, wind up the flyswatter with full force, and bring it down on the spider with everything I've got. The poor Abyss Weaver doesn't even have time to scream. It's instantly reduced to a smear of dark purple. Congratulations. Host has slain ancient beast, Abyss Weaver. Rewards granted, 20 years of refined martial cultivation and heaven-touched insight. Then, without any warning, a torrent of energy 10 times more violent than before slams into my body. Not good. I'm about to break through. I sprint to the duty room and lock the door. My core expands to its absolute limit in an instant. That incredibly refined energy rages through my meridians like a flood. Early mortal tier, mid-mortal tier, peak mortal tier, and finally, it locks in at Spirit Source Master. In this world, warriors were ranked as mortal tier warriors, Spirit Source Masters, and Grand Masters. An ordinary person could spend their entire life and never surpass the mortal tier. To break through to Spirit Source before 30 was the mark of a prodigy every major clan would fight to recruit. And here I am. In just a few days, by swatting a cockroach and a spider, I've covered a road that takes others 30 years. I raise my hand and stare at my palm. A visible white current of energy spirals around my fingertips. Sharp as a blade, it hums with a faint tearing sound as it cuts through the air. Externalized energy, the hallmark of a Spirit Source Master. I swallow hard. This system is absolutely broken, but the rewards? Absolutely worth it. I slowly stand. My body feels light as a feather, yet inside it holds a seemingly endless reservoir of power. Right now I could slap a bull flat, but no, I need to keep a low profile. A front door security guard suddenly becoming a Spirit Source Master. If that got out, I'd end up on a lab table. So I make up my mind right then, keep a low profile and grow stronger in the shadows. After that, I hole up in the library. With heaven-touched insight active, a strange sight unfolds in the 3rd floor corner. A young man in a security uniform, flipping through shelves like a madman, 10 pages per second. How to properly hold a horse stance. System chimes. Congratulations, host has comprehended ironclad stance. Introduction to acupressure. Congratulations, host has comprehended soul-severing strike. Tai Chi for seniors. Congratulations, host has comprehended yin-yang convergence. Eye exercise illustrated guide. Congratulations, host has comprehended violet abyss eye. In just 2 hours, I blazed through all 200+ introductory books on the shelf. Over 200 messy, even contradictory basic martial techniques crash into each other and fuse together under the terrifying power of my insight, weaving themselves into one vast web of martial knowledge. Just then, a faint commotion catches my attention. By the window sits a young woman in a white silk training outfit. Elara, eldest daughter of the Vane family of Iron Bay, who broke through to late mortal tier at just 18. She's recognized as Iron Bay City's #1 genius, and a regular here at the library. But right now, this ice-cold goddess seems to be having a problem. Her brow is furrowed slightly, her hand frozen mid-page over an ancient text, a barely noticeable irritation flickering in her eyes. A green-headed fly is circling above her head, completely oblivious to its own death wish. The fly darts left and right like it's under some kind of curse, even attempting to land on the tip of her nose, just to provoke her. As a warrior, she's naturally tried to shoo it away, but to her shock, the fly seems mutated, its flight path erratic, its speed almost unbelievable. She discreetly flicked out a finger blast moments ago, and the fly dodged it like it was nothing. What kind of creature is this? Just as she's about to channel her energy and blast it out of existence, a lazy voice drifts over. Fly's coming to read at the library now. What a time to be alive. Alara looks up. She sees a young security guard in a baggy uniform strolling over, chipped mug in hand. Don't come closer, Alara says coldly. That fly is fast. It might be some kind of mutant. Watch yourself. I act like I didn't hear a word and keep strolling over. In my head, the system is going absolutely berserk. Maximum alert, maximum alert. High energy entity detected ahead. Rift fly. Target speed has broken the sound barrier. It is scanning for host's weak point, preparing for a one-hit kill. I roll my eyes. Through my newly evolved dynamic vision, that fly, which must look like lightning to Alara, looks like it's been put on slow motion, just casually drifting along like it's window shopping. Excuse me, you're blocking my kill, I mutter, stepping up to Alara's table. Alara's brow furrows. She's about to scold this oblivious guard, but the next second she freezes. She watches as I casually raise my right hand, index and middle fingers pressed together, and make one light, lazy swipe through the air, like brushing away dust. There's the faintest little snap. The fly is obliterated, reduced to nothing, and without breaking stride, I wander off with my mug, completely unbothered. Alara is completely frozen in her seat. Her mind keeps replaying that single instant over and over again. Was that the legendary finger sword? Could this guard who sleeps on the job every day actually be a peerless sword master hiding in plain sight? Meanwhile, I've already slipped behind the shelves. Ding, kill confirmed. Target, rift fly. Congratulations, host has obtained the perfect tier movement technique 9 steps of the wind. I nearly spit out my water. I just swatted a fly. And the system hands me 9 steps of the wind? I feel a flood of footwork knowledge pour into my mind all at once. My feet shift instinctively, following that mysterious rhythm. The next second, I'm standing 10 meters away at the emergency exit, and I have no idea how I got there. Is this teleportation? I glance back at where I was just standing. Life just keeps getting more interesting. But what I don't know is that a real crisis is quietly brewing deep beneath Iron Bay City. Ding! Host detected suffering from poverty curse. Quest issued, slay the sewer rat king. Reward, 100,000. 100,000. Why didn't you lead with that? My eyes go sharp instantly. I grab a worn iron hook with a grip worn smooth from years of use. Flash forward in a single step and arrive in the dark underground world below. This is one of the main arteries of Iron Bay City's vast drainage system. Despite being a sewer, the space is surprisingly large, wide enough for 2 trucks to pass side by side. Wastewater rushes along both sides, with a narrow maintenance walkway running down the center. 100,000, 100,000. I mutter the number to myself like a mantra, using it to beat back the small knot of fear and disgust in my chest. Just then, 2 red lights blink on in the darkness ahead. No, not lights, eyes. And then, dozens more red pinpoints light up all through the dark, accompanied by a skin-crawling chorus of scraping and shrieking. By the faint glow of my phone's flashlight, I make out what's blocking my path. Rats. Each one is the size of a house cat, black fur standing on end, teeth gleaming yellow. Their red eyes burn with savagery and bloodlust. They seem drawn to my human presence, creeping closer inch by inch, low growls rumbling in their throats. I flinch. Holy crap, these things are huge. Facing this horde of giant rats, I feel a flash of instinctive panic. But the next second, I remember my undying body, and that 100,000 reward. In the end, greed wins out over fear. The massive black rat at the front seems to sense my distraction. It kicks off its hind legs and launches at me like a bolt of black lightning, straight for my throat, blindingly fast. But in my eyes, it's moving in slow motion. I don't even shift my body, just flick the iron hook upward in one smooth motion. With a dull thud, the rat, still midair, is run clean through by the rusty hook, dangling off it like a kebab. The rat lets out a shriek and thrashes wildly, but the hook's barb is locked onto its spine. Out you go! I flick my wrist. The rat, easily 5 or 6 pounds, goes flying. It slams into the wall and becomes a smear. That move sends the whole pack into a frenzy. The remaining dozens surge forward like a black tide, completely unhinged. Come on then. I don't retreat, I charge forward. In the dim sewer, the iron hook becomes a blur. Every swing is followed by a piercing rat shriek. Every thrust claims a life. 5th, 10th, 20th. A silver rat twice the size of the others suddenly appears, silently crouched on the overhead pipes above me, lining up a killing blow. The instant it drops, I don't even look up. I reverse stab the hook upward, and it drives precisely into the silver rat's belly. It's pinned straight to the concrete pipe above. The silver rat doesn't even get a squeal out. Just 2 twitches, then nothing. Congratulations, host has slain a ratkin centurion. Reward granted, projectile mastery. At this point, the once raging rat horde finally feels something new. Fear. They stare at the bodies of their fallen across the floor, then back at this blood-soaked figure whose eyes are still calmly calculating, and they break. The surviving rats scatter in all directions. Don't run, that's money. I panic and lunge after them with the hook. But just then, a deep, guttural roar rolls out from the darkest depths of the sewer, like something clawing up from hell itself. The entire underground space shakes, the wastewater churns, dust rains from the walls. A truly suffocating, rancid stench blasts into my face. Warning! Warning! Ultimate boss awakened! Abyssal scaleback is approaching. I stop in my tracks, staring hard into the darkness. I raise one finger at whatever massive thing is lurking in that dark, my middle finger. Quit your hollering. A loud roar doesn't impress me. You're still just a bigger rat. With that, I hoist my iron hook and charge straight into that foul wind. The massive creature the system tagged as abyssal scaleback finally emerges from the shadows. By the faint flash of my phone light, I make out its form. It's a massive creature nearly 4 meters long, covered in dark green scales caked with sludge and rotting vegetation. Its body is vaguely lizard-like, but its head is grotesquely swollen, its jagged fangs jutting outward like a mouthful of daggers. With every breath, it exhales pale yellow toxic fumes. Even with everything I've seen, my eye still twitches. This is supposed to be a rat? Who in the world has a rat with scales? Warning. Abyssal Scaleback has entered Berserk mode. Its scales are Void Dragon scales, immune to 99% of physical and arcane damage. Its claws carry a soul rend effect. Contact means instant death. I heft my rusty iron hook. I don't back up. I walk forward one step at a time. The mutant croc is clearly enraged by this tiny human standing its ground. It unleashes an ear-splitting roar. Its massive tail whips sideways. The concrete wall beside it explodes into rubble, chunks flying like bullets. Then it opens its cavernous maw, reeking with a nauseating stench, and barrels toward me like a runaway heavy truck, shockingly fast. In my eyes, it moves like a 300-pound man attempting ballet. I shift my left foot slightly and hold my body at a bizarre 45-degree forward lean. The hook doesn't recoil the way a normal weapon would. Instead, it slides straight into the soft underbelly of the croc, and I yank hard. "Get down!" I growl. The so-called Void Dragon scales tear open like soggy tofu. The hook buries deep into its gut and catches on a rib. I grip the hook one-handed, drop my center of gravity, and using the beast's own charging momentum, I swing the whole near-ton creature up into the air. The mutant croc traces a dramatic arc through the air. There you go. Boom. The undisputed overlord of this sewer gets slammed into the far wall like I'm killing a fish. The entire underground tunnel shudders. Dust cascades from the ceiling. The croc's spine snaps on impact. Its organs rupture. It doesn't even get a cry out, just slumps limply to the ground, twitching. It's not gonna make it. I dust the rust off my hands, walk over, give its head a kick. That's it, pathetic. Couldn't take one hit. I give it one more kick to make sure it's done breathing. The system erupts with unprecedented excitement. Kill confirmed. Abyssal Scaleback has fallen. Congratulations. Host has earned the title Dragon Slayer. Reward granted Dragon Elephant Power. Host's strength will now grow with every breath. A wave of heat floods through my body once more. I feel noticeably stronger. Dragon Elephant Power. Not bad. That'll make moving book carts a lot easier. Without another thought, I hum a little tune and drag the croc toward the exit like a bag of trash. 100,000, 100,000. Enough to find a wife and live well. In the shadows, a pair of eyes watches me in silence. The next day, I show up to work like nothing happened. I'm standing post at the library entrance with my chipped enamel mug, but today's visitors seem tense. Several luxury cars are parked outside the library, and bodyguards in black suits and sunglasses stand on the steps, radiating a clear back-off energy. What's going on now? Which big shot is coming to inspect the place? I take a sip of tea and wonder. Then an insufferably arrogant voice rings out from inside. "Hey, you, the one guarding the door, get over here." I turn to see a young man in a designer suit, hair slicked back, standing at the front desk, pointing his finger at me like he owns the place. Blake, second son of the Crane family of Iron Bay. A textbook rich brat. Word is he has decent talent. Just broke through to mid-mortal tier. Spends his days throwing his family's weight around. I used to give his type a wide berth, not worth the trouble, but now, I'm not afraid of anything. I take one look at Blake's punchable face and stroll over. "Welcome, sir. How can I help you today?" "Borrowing a book, tap your card, restroom out the door, turn left." "Don't give me that," Blake snaps, slamming his hand on the desk. "I'm asking you, where is Alara? I heard she's been here every day lately. Is she hiding from me?" "So he's here to chase a girl." I roll my eyes. "Sorry, library policy. We don't disclose visitor information. Also, this is a quiet zone. Please lower your voice." Blake looks at me like I just told a joke. A twisted grin spreads across his face. "Rules? In Iron Bay City, what I say is the rule." As he speaks, a mortal tier warrior's aura surges off him, and the nearby visitors scramble back in alarm. Oh no, Blake's going to start something. That guard is done for. He's getting his legs broken. But I, standing right at the center of this storm, don't even blink. Blake feels the slight deeply. When has the second son of the Crane family ever been ignored by a security guard? "You're dead," Blake snarls. He swings a fist straight at my face. I don't dodge. Instead, I draw my trusty red plastic flyswatter from my belt. Smack. A crack so sharp it echoes through the entire hall. On his left cheek, a vivid red, grid-shaped welt blooms. A love letter from the flyswatter. "You!" Blake covers his face and stares at me in disbelief. Low damage. Maximum humiliation. "I'm going to kill you!" Blake loses it completely. His eyes go red, energy detonating off his entire body. He rips a dagger from his waist and drives it straight at my heart without hesitation. Watch out! Up on the second floor railing, Alara, who has just arrived, sees it all unfold. She cries out in alarm, but the next second the cry dies in her throat. She watches as my wrist flicks, the fly swatter in my hand, suddenly becoming a blur of red, a rapid-fire string of crisp cracks filling the air. All Blake can see is a wall of red grid patterns, as over a dozen strikes land on his face, hands, and body in an instant. The dagger clatters to the floor, Blake spins like a top, 3 full rotations on the spot, before his legs give out and he drops to his knees in front of me with a thud. Blake is in tears, not from pain but from sheer wounded pride. I blow the non-existent dust off my flyswatter, tuck it away, pick up my mug, and stroll back to my post under the awed, reverent stares of every person in the hall. But as Blake is helped out by his bodyguards in a sorry state, he glares back at me with pure venom. Fine, you really hit me. Just wait, I'll see how you die. The next morning at 9, the Iron Bay City Sports Center hosts the grand opening of the Iron Bay Martial Arts Exchange, a triennial event. More than a gathering of martial artists, it's a battleground where major clans carve up territory and fight over resources. I'm standing in front of the library's exhibition booth in my security uniform, wearing the face of a man with nothing left to live for. Yesterday, the director suddenly called me in for overtime, supposedly to maintain order, but really just to haul boxes. The library director, a balding middle-aged man, is sweating and calling out to passersby. Not a single passing warrior even glances his way. In a world that worships power, the creed is simple: bigger fists make the rules. Nobody wants to read dry theory books. Kevin, stop daydreaming, go grab some water from the buffet area. The moment I hear buffet area, I snap to attention instantly. The one and only reason I agreed to this overtime is the rumor that today's buffet features 5-star hotel Australian lobster, unlimited. I load a plate into a small mountain, find a corner to crouch in, and go to town. Over in the very important person section, Alara sits with perfect posture, surrounded by a ring of young men from prominent families, each trying to outdo the others in flattery. Alara, the Crane family has a real ace up our sleeve for this event, says Blake, face still not fully healed, sunglasses hiding the swelling, but his tail-wagging routine unchanged. Alara ignores him completely. Her gaze sweeps the crowd like she's searching for something rare, then her eyes light up. She spotted me, huddled in my corner, annihilating the seafood. The senior really did come. Blake follows her gaze, and finds me too. Damn it! How did that guard even get in here? Old grudges and fresh rage flood through him all at once. Alara, don't waste your eyes on that lowlife. Some doorman crashing in for a free meal. It's an embarrassment to this whole event. I'll have him removed. Don't you dare. Alara snaps her head toward him, her gaze cold as a blade. Blake, if you touch him, don't expect any mercy from me. Blake freezes. He can't believe Alara would turn on him over me. He lets out a cold laugh and sends a look toward a few of his lackeys across the room. Back at the library booth, the director is beside himself. Not a single book sold all morning. Then a group of heavyset men in training gear walks up. The one at the front is bald, with a face full of brutish flesh. Hey, old man. The bald one kicks the display table, and a cascade of books tumbles to the ground. We're taking the spot. Grab your junk books and get lost. The director is startled. The organizing committee assigned the spot to us. You can't just... Assigned? The bald one spits arrogantly. Bigger fists make the rules. Now be smart and move, or we'll throw you out with your books. You're thugs. The director shakes with fury. The bald one backhands him across the face. The director's glasses go flying. Don't push your luck, old man. You know who I'm with? The Iron Fist Society. The commotion draws a crowd immediately. Those library people really picked the wrong enemy. The Iron Fist Society of all people. Yeah, looks like someone's getting hurt today. Seeing no one step up, the bald one gets even more bold. Break his hands. The heavy-set men close in all at once. Fists and feet come raining down. The director squeezes his eyes shut and braces himself in despair, but the expected pain never comes. Instead, a strange sound rings out around him. The director peeks open one eye and sees a familiar figure standing in front of him. I'm standing there balancing, a plate piled high with food, half a lobster hanging from my mouth, and in my right hand, a pair of disposable bamboo chopsticks from the sashimi station. The heavy-set men are still frozen in their swinging postures, but each one has half a chopstick sticking out of their wrist, blood running freely. Only now do the screams come, all at once, perfectly synchronized. My hand's been pierced. What did that? The men clutch their wrists, rolling on the ground in agony. Even the bald one is stunned. He just saw a flash and suddenly all his men are out of commission. Who are you? You really want to stick your nose into Iron Fist Society business? You got a death wish? The bald one roars, all bark and no bite. I look at him, reach into my plate, and pick up a fresh chopstick. I tap it against the table to smooth the splinters. I'm just a security guard. The bald one stares at that perfectly ordinary chopstick, and for reasons he can't explain, every hair on the back of his neck stands up. But he's a man of the underworld. With this many eyes watching, backing down now would ruin him. A security guard? Die! He yanks a heavy cleaver from his waist, energy surging as he brings it down hard at my head. He's clearly going for the kill. I shake my head with a sigh and flick the chopstick upward. The bald one feels his blade connect with something like solid granite. His grip shatters at the impact point. The cleaver flies from his hand and drives itself into the ceiling. My chopstick doesn't stop. It glides forward and taps lightly against his throat, but the bald man flies backward as if hit by a high-speed train, launching over 10 meters through the air. He crashes through the neighboring stall selling miracle cure pills and ends up tangled in their banner reading Ancient Family Formula. I turn to face the remaining lackeys, all visibly terrified, and speak in a flat, calm tone. You knocked over my lobster. 500 each. Pay up, then get out. The lackeys don't say a word. They're trembling as they empty their pockets. Then they drag the bald man up and scramble out of there like their lives depend on it. 2,300. Not bad. These guys were loaded. I tuck the cash into my pocket with a satisfied grin. I help the shell-shocked director back to his feet. You alright, director? As long as the books are fine, he manages, trembling. Kevin, you know martial arts? Ah, just messing around, I say with a modest wave. Just then a commotion erupts at the entrance. A group of people in black martial uniforms stalks in, radiating cold, hostile energy. At the front is a gaunt, withered old man, gripping a serpent-head walking staff. Who dared lay a hand on my Iron Fist Society members? The crowd's face is pale. It's Victor, the Grand Elder of the Iron Fist Society, the Poison Hand himself. We're done. He's a true peak spirit source master, 1 foot already in Grandmaster territory. The old monster. I hear all this, glance down at my chopstick, and pointed at him. Old man, are you here to pay up, or to take a beating? Bold words, young man. In 40 years of carving through this world, no one has ever pointed a chopstick at me. Victor's clouded eyes lock onto mine. That just means you haven't been around. In our cafeteria, the lunch ladies wave their chopsticks like they own the world, and their hands shake a lot worse than yours. Insolent! Victor's fury erupts. A dense dark green mist blasts from his wide sleeves and floods the space within 10 meters. Wherever the mist passes, the red carpet blackens and rots instantly, and the air itself hisses with a corrosive sizzle. The spectators go white with terror and scramble backward. Bone rot mist, run! One breath and you dissolve into blood. My God, Victor's gone mad. He's going to start a massacre, but I, standing right at the center of it all, just wrinkle my nose. What is that smell? Did you have chive dumplings for lunch and skip brushing your teeth? I hold my nose with one hand and fish a plastic folding fan out of my back pocket. Standard summer patrol equipment. I flick my wrist with a snap and the fan unfolds. Then, like I'm shooing away a fly, I give the rolling dark green mist one casual fan. The mist, which had been surging forward aggressively, suddenly freezes, as if it's hit its natural enemy. Then it reverses. The entire cloud coils back and shapes itself into a massive hand, and slaps Victor hard across his own face. Victor's eyes nearly pop out of his skull. Impossible. This must be an illusion. He doesn't finish. His own toxic mist hits him full in the face. Victor's throat burns like fire and his face goes a sickly shade of green. See? I told you that stuff was nasty. Victor lets out a vicious laugh and drives his serpent head staff into the ground. The staff splits open. 2 vivid red snakes with crested heads shoot out of it like red lightning bolts. This is Victor's true trump card, the twin flame vipers. These are no ordinary snakes. He has fed them his own life essence for 30 years, making them something far beyond common. Go. Kill him, Victor roars. The 2 red snakes cut through the air in eerie arcs, one on each side, both aimed straight for the arteries in my neck. I stare at the 2 red noodles flying toward me and freeze for a second. They are just eels, the braised kind. I casually raise my left hand. The disposable chopsticks I haven't put down yet snap shut precisely at each snake's weak point. Both snakes thrash violently, tails whipping with sharp cracks, jaws snapping to bite. But beneath those seemingly flimsy bamboo chopsticks, they may as well be welded in place. Victor is completely dumbfounded. His prized companions, the ones that can bite through steel, are dangling from a pair of chopsticks like a couple of wriggling loaches. Let them go, Victor shouts, his voice cracking with desperation. I examine the snakes on my chopsticks with complete seriousness. They're a bit scrawny, old man. Didn't raise your eel right. Barely any meat on them. With one hand working the chopsticks, I weave the 2 still struggling snakes together and tie them in a knot, like a magic trick. Then I shape the whole thing into a neat red bow. A gift for you. I flick my wrist. The bow, made from 2 deadly vipers, sails back to Victor and lands perfectly in his arms. Victor fumbles to catch his precious snakes, stares at them, nodded, eyes rolled back, tongues lolling, and finally can't hold it back. He spits a mouthful of blood. I'll take you down with me, he roars, his entire energy reversing violently through his body swelling like a balloon, skin turning a terrifying shade of purple-black. He's going to self-destruct. The crowd screams in horror. A spirit source master's self-destruction carries the force of a small missile. I frown. In the final second before Victor detonates, I flash forward and plant a kick square into Victor's bloated stomach. Out you go. Victor is hit like a fully loaded express train just ran through him head on. The raging energy building inside him is physically kicked apart by the force of that one blow. He lets out a dull grunt and rockets off like a purple meteor, vanishing into the sky. I glance at the crowd around me and try to make a quick exit, but I haven't gone 2 steps before Alara steps into my path, holding up her contact code. I'm Alara. Do you remember me? Could we exchange contacts? I look at the code, then at the hopeful look in her eyes. I pull out my secondhand phone, screen cracked in 3 places. Fine, but fair warning, I'm a busy guy. I don't do small talk. If you're consulting me on business matters, like cockroach removal or sewer maintenance, there's a fee. Alara looks like she's found buried treasure. Of course, on your schedule. I'll make sure the consultation fee is more than satisfactory. In the underground chamber of the Crane family villa in Iron Base City, the air is thick with tension. Blake kneels on the floor. Beside him lies Victor, every bone broken, undergoing treatment. Seated at the head of the room is a middle-aged man whose aura radiates quiet menace. Drake, patriarch of the Crane family, a true Grand Master. You're telling me, the security guard, fanned the toxic mist back with a paper fan, tied the twin flame vipers into a bow with chopsticks, and then kicked you into the sky. Drake's voice is perfectly calm, but everyone in the room can hear the fire beneath it. Yes, my lord, Victor says weakly. That man is something else entirely. His fighting style has no form, all street thug moves, but the power behind it is terrifying. Drake lets out a cold snort. The teacup in his hand crumbles to dust. No matter who he is, once you've crossed the Crane family, you don't get to keep breathing. A flash of cold resolve crosses Drake's eyes. He pulls out a satellite phone and dials an encrypted number. Shadow Guild? I have a contract, Bounty, 100 million. Target Kevin, security guard at the Iron Bay City Public Library. The moment that 100 million bounty goes out, the entire underworld erupts. 100 million for a security guard's head. That's basically free money. That is the first thought of every assassin who sees the posting. I, however, know nothing. The next day I show up to work as usual, but by now at least 20 top-tier assassins have already infiltrated the library. They're disguised as readers, cleaning staff, even delivery workers, spread across every corner of the building. They've woven a kill net with no gaps. Target has entered the lobby. Team A, maintain reader cover, prepare to create a diversion. Team B, move in for the close-range kill during the chaos. Team C, seal the perimeter. No escape routes. The cold voice of the mission commander crackles through their earpieces. The commander of this operation is Phantom, ranked 3rd on the assassin's board. He's currently disguised as a white-haired old man in reading glasses, sitting on the lobby sofa with a newspaper. I notice nothing off about the atmosphere. I head to the hot water station to fill my mug, ready for another day of doing absolutely nothing. But as I pass the old man, the system suddenly jumps in. Ding! Warning, disguised pest detected. Target, stick insect humanoid variant. This pest excels at camouflage. It appears to be a kind old man but conceals a poison-coated blade within its body. I stop and look at the man pretending to read his paper, every muscle in his body coiled tight. Sir, your newspaper is upside down. Phantom freezes. He'd been too focused, and genuinely hadn't noticed the paper was upside down. "Ah-ha-ha-ha! Sharp eyes, young man," Phantom says with an awkward laugh, while his hand quietly slides toward the poison dart in his sleeve. I nod. Then I reach out and grab Phantom's wrist in one swift motion. The eyes aren't bad, but my nose is even better. That killing intent rolling off you is way too strong. Phantom's expression shifts completely. He tries to pull free, and finds my grip as an iron clamp, locked dead on his pulse point. "Move in, we're blown!" Phantom drops the act and shouts. The quiet lobby erupts into total chaos. Readers on all sides tear off their disguises and pull daggers, guns, and throwing stars from between the pages of their books. The cleaning lady mopping the floor draws a longsword from inside the mop handle. Even the delivery guy at the entrance reaches into his thermal box and pulls out a compact submachine gun. Kill him. We split the bounty. Over 20 elite assassins come roaring toward me. The actual library patrons scream and scatter in all directions, clutching their heads. I knew it. Summer comes around and the place gets absolutely infested. From where I'm standing, this isn't an assassin ambush at all. Just a swarm of mutant insects throwing themselves at me in a suicidal charge. Warning. Insect nest assault detected. 23 in total. Species. Mixed hybrid pest assortment. For the hygiene of the library, wide area extermination is advised. I look down at my chipped enamel mug, just filled with boiling water at exactly 100 degrees. Wide area extermination, huh? Alright then, let me serve you all some morning tea. I flick my wrist. A cup of scalding water is flung outward in a blooming arc, like petals scattering in the wind. This is no ordinary water. It's a high-temperature liquid bomb laced with flame control and spirit source energy. Every single droplet, the moment it leaves the mug, becomes a scorching bullet. The 5 or 6 assassins charging out front are instantly hit full in the face by the boiling barrage. Ah, my eyes! My face! Is this lava? The assassins scream and collapse, clawing at their faces. But we're not done. I toss the empty mug and draw my battle-hardened red plastic flyswatter from my belt. I've said it before, no noise in the library. Smack. An assassin reaching for a gun gets the swatter across the wrist. The gun flies away, and the wrist bones shatter. For the next 2 minutes, the library lobby becomes my personal pest to control show. I move through the crowd like a ghost. Swing, chop, sweep, but backed by peak innate power. This $2 plastic swatter hits harder than any legendary weapon. Every assassin I hit gets a bright red grid stamped on their face, then goes spinning through the air. Some end up dangling from the chandelier. Others get wedged into the bookshelves. The last one standing is Phantom himself, the one who started all this. By now, Phantom has collapsed to the floor in sheer terror. His wig has fallen off, revealing a perfectly bald head. He stares at his groaning crew scattered across the floor. What are you? Human or ghost? I walk over and look down at him. I told you, I'm the security guard. Since you're old people, I'll let you off the beating. However, I point at the smashed furniture and shattered vases on the floor. You're paying for all of this. I'll pay. I'll pay for everything. Phantom bursts into tears and pulls out a black card. There's 50 million in this account. Is that enough? 50 million. My eyes light up. I pocket the card without a second thought. Just as I'm about to toss these pests out the door, a piercing air raid siren screams to life, tearing across every corner of Bay City in an instant. The library intercom cuts out and is replaced by a woman's voice, urgent and trembling. Emergency broadcast. Emergency broadcast. Bay City is under a top-level red alert. Moments ago, a dimensional rift over 10 kilometers wide tore open above the Western District. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. The tide is here. Outside the library windows, the clear sky has turned a deep, bleeding red. Countless black specks swarm out of the rift like locusts, blotting out the sky. This time it's not a system error, and it's not my imagination. It's over. It's the tide. The real tide. Run. The city is lost. Chaos erupts around me. I'm the only one who calmly walks over to the floor-to-ceiling window. Ding. Large-scale ecological invasion detected. Targets, mutant sparrow flocks, feral stray cats and dogs, and a small number of escaped zoo animals running loose. I look out at the creature outside, the size of a truck wreathed in living flame, an inferno lion slamming itself against the building across the street. Then I glance at the system tag floating above it, oversized, grumpy ginger teddy. I scratch my head and sigh. Strays are eating well these days. Look at the size of it. I push open the front door, step into the blood-red haze and the reek of carnage, and let a small smile curl at the corner of my mouth. The tear in the sky keeps widening. Crimson light drowns everything beneath it. Monsters of every grotesque shape rain down from the rift like dumplings tumbling into a pot. Some have wings and spit acid. Some are armored and charge through everything in their path. Others move like shadows and cut lives short without a sound. The military's tank units are already firing. An inferno lion the size of a heavy truck stands on a flattened tank and roars at the sky. The infernal fire it breathes melts the asphalt around it into rivers of lava. We can't hold. Fall back. All units fall back to the second line. Inside the frontline command vehicle, Bay City's garrison commander Leon roars into his radio, desperation cracking his voice. His eyes are bloodshot. He slams his fist into the console. Is this the end of Bay City? I walk out of the library at my own pace, brow furrowed. In my hand is a mop I grab from the corner on my way out. The rampaging inferno lion seems to sense something. It turns its massive head, and those flame-burning eyes lock onto me. As a beast king, it possesses sharp intelligence. It can sense something radiating off this insignificant human, something it deeply, instinctively despises. The inferno lion lets out a furious roar and abandons its chase of the fleeing soldiers. All four paws launch off the ground, and it becomes a streak of black and red, hurtling toward me with the force of something that could level a city. Run! Hey, the security guard, run! Leon, who is covering the civilian evacuation, catches sight of this and his eyes go wide with horror. But I don't run. I watch the charging beast with mild irritation. Whose dog is off the leash? The inferno lion closes to within 3 meters, jaws stretched wide to swallow me whole. I simply raise my left index finger to my lips. My expression goes flat, and I bellow, with every ounce of authority I have. Sit. Something impossible happens. This triple S beast king, berserk, blood-crazed. The moment it hears that single word, something deep in its soul gets struck like a bell. Its body seizes up mid-air. The savagery in its eyes flickers, replaced just for a moment by confusion. I step forward, raise my right hand, and flick the inferno lion hard on its wet black nose. I put the full force of finger burst behind that flick. The once terrifying inferno lion lets out a whimper, the kind a scolded puppy makes. Its massive body deflates like a punctured balloon. Every flame on its body goes out at once. And then, under the stunned eyes of Leon and his soldiers, this triple S beast king actually sits, front paws together, tongue hanging out, looking up at me like it wants a treat. What kind of tactic is that? Words command the law. At one's order, beast king submit. What in the world? Is this some kind of beast-taming god walking among us? Meanwhile, I'm pulling a tissue from my pocket with a look of pure disgust, wiping imaginary drool off my hand. I point at the inferno lion's nose. Look at you, covered in soot. Stay. Don't you dare move, or I'll break those legs. The inferno lion nods rapidly. Leon leads a group of officers over at a shaky jog. Senior, thank you for saving us. May I ask your name? Leon's words tumble out in an excited rush. He snaps off a razor-sharp salute. Being surrounded by a crowd of blood-soaked soldiers makes me a little uneasy. I step back half a pace and point to the badge on my chest. I'm Kevin, security guard library. Leon and the officers freeze, taming a triple S beast king barehanded, and he's just a library security guard? Leon assumes it must be a disguise. He plays along with an awkward laugh. Ha! Very humble of you, senior. Yes, a security guard. Keeping the peace, as they say. The words barely leave his mouth before the ground begins to shake, violently. The earth cracks open. Several buildings nearby crumble straight down. At the rift above the city's center, an enormous hand covered in black fur slowly reaches through. The palm is half the size of a football field. Its nails rise like black towers. Then a head the size of a mountain smashes through the dimensional barrier and forces itself into our world. It's an ape. A true titan ape. It stands over 100 meters tall, its muscles bulging like boulders under its skin. Its eyes are 2 blood-red moons. Warning. Warning. Ultimate catastrophe incoming. Target, the Titan ape. World-ending class entity. Host survival probability extremely low. Immediate retreat strongly advised. Leon stares up at the Titan ape, a creature that nearly blots out the sky. His gun slips from his fingers and hits the ground. It's over. A demigod-class creature. Nothing human can stand against this. The Titan ape releases a roar. The shockwave rolls outward and shatters every window in sight. It lifts one sky-blotting foot and slams it down toward the library. Shadow swallows the ground. Everyone squeezes their eyes shut, waiting to die. I'm the only one looking up. Son of a... I mutter under my breath. Under everyone's horrified gaze, I bend my knees and drop into a textbook horse stance. System, stop running your mouth and give me everything. That dragon elephant force you just rewarded me. Every last scrap of power bonus, crank it all to maximum. Ding, burning 20 years of lifespan. Strength amplified by 1000%. I draw a long, slow breath. The energy inside me detonates like a reactor going critical. A layer of golden light ripples across my skin. Faint echoes of dragons and elephants cry out from somewhere deep within. Here, we, go! When the Titan ape's foot is still 10 meters from the ground, I kick off the earth like a golden cannonball and charge straight up to meet it. On the way up, I scoop a massive decorative boulder out of the roadside flower bed. So, You're a gorilla, huh? Like stomping on people, do you? Take this. Civilization check. To every witness watching, this moment freezes into something that feels like myth. A soul-shattering crash. Golden light slams into black energy in the sky, and then something happens that makes everyone question reality. The 100-meter Titan ape lets out a shriek like a stuck pig. The boulder digs into the sole of its foot. The impact throws off its balance, and its colossal body topples backward. The Titan ape crashes onto its back, flattening a stretch of rubble behind it and throwing up a cloud of dust that swallows the sky. I drop back down from the air, landing steady on a chunk of broken stone. Leon swallows hard and turns to Alara, who has just arrived. His voice is shaking. Alara, is he really just a security guard? Alara takes a slow breath, her eyes steady. No, he's a god. The Titan ape, knocked flat by a civilization check, is clearly not ready to surrender. From the rubble, it unleashes a roar that cracks the sky. The stone-like muscles across its body writhe and surge. Black demonic energy erupts upward like a volcano. Its blood-red eyes fix on me and don't let go. Both massive hands slam the ground. The entire block sinks half a meter in an instant. A crushing gravitational field radiates outward in every direction. I roll my neck and shake out my legs. Why do I suddenly feel so heavy? Did I eat too much last night? Must have put on weight? The Titan ape's eyes nearly bulge out of its head. Its gravity void technique has crushed countless grandmasters in battle. Yet this human's only response is complaining about his weight. Refusing to accept it, the Titan ape drags itself back to its feet. It raises fists that could pulverize mountains, and launches a frenzied barrage straight at me. I frown. Still at it, are we? That was a polite warning. Since you didn't take it, don't blame me for what comes next. I bend down and pull off my blue plastic slipper, size 42. Congratulations, host. You have unleashed the ultimate karmic artifact, the Slipper of Smiting. Its attributes, 100% face-slapping accuracy, and total defense bypass. Get down. Now, I hold the slipper in one hand and vanish in a blur. Through the Titan ape's storm of fists, I weave without effort, dodging every strike. Then I leap, all the way up to the Titan ape's enormous nose bridge. The slipper cracks across its left cheek. The Titan ape releases a shriek of pure anguish. That single smack shatters every shred of dignity it had as a demigod beast. This one is for the library floor. This one is for all the plants and flowers you crushed. And this one is because you're ugly, and you came out here to frighten people. The slipper in my hand becomes a blur. Every strike sprays dark blood. The Titan ape that was ready to annihilate Bay City just moments ago is now curled up on the ground like a kid caught in the act, arms wrapped over its head begging for mercy. Above Bay City, a handful of surviving news drones circle the edge of the battlefield. They are streaming this live to the entire world via satellite. Billions of viewers worldwide stare at their screens in collective stunned silence. On screen, a field of ruins. Smoke curls through the air. A 100-meter monster kneels on the ground, trembling, and on top of its enormous head, a tiny human figure, holding a blue slipper, hitting and scolding at the same time. The comment feed goes dead for a moment, then explodes. Holy, what is that weapon? Is that a blue ancient artifact? Ancient artifact, my foot. That's a slipper. Like $2 with free shipping. Is this the mysterious power of the East? All hail slipper guy. Back on the battlefield. I'm tired. I lower my arm, wipe my foot on the Titan ape's head and look down at it. Had enough? The Titan ape nods like a jackhammer. Looking at this enormous thing, I feel a headache coming on. Then I remember a novel I read once. Hey, big monkey. You're a monkey, right? Monkeys can shrink. Make yourself smaller. I hold up my fingers to show it. About the size of a palm. The Titan ape's expression shifts to one of visible distress. I raise an eyebrow and lift the blue slipper. The Titan ape shudders in terror, burns its own life source blood, and forces a reversal of its entire bloodline. With a puff of white smoke, the mountain-sized colossus vanishes, replaced by a tiny golden snub-nosed monkey, no bigger than a palm. Sure enough, with the Titan ape's submission, the rift in the sky begins to slowly seal itself. The other monsters that were still rampaging sense it, the terror of their leader getting beaten senseless. They scramble back toward the rift in a blind panic, and in under 5 minutes the entire tide is gone. Nothing remains but wreckage and silence across the whole city. Sunlight breaks through the clouds and falls on the earth again. One man, one slipper, one city saved. That night, Bay City erupts. Slipper Guy trends worldwide. The blue slipper becomes an instant bestseller across every major shopping platform. Its price gets driven to astronomical levels. As for me, the man at the center of it all, I'm already in bed fast asleep. My mind doesn't drift into dreams. Instead, it gets pulled into a pure white space. No up or down, no passage of time, just endless streams of flowing data cascading around me like waterfalls. At the center of it all floats an enormous blue sphere of light, my system. But right now, it is no longer a simple text panel, nor the loud, brash AI voice I know. It has taken a human form, a figure in a black suit and black-rimmed glasses, looking every bit the composed, mild-mannered property manager. A pleasure to meet you in person, host, or rather administrator. I look at the property manager and feel no particular surprise. I just scratch my head. You're my system. Why are you dressed like my supervisor? The property manager adjusts her glasses and smiles. This form is calibrated to your perception. In this dimension, I am the will of heaven, the will of the world itself, and what you call your system, but I prefer the name you gave me. The property manager. All right, property manager, what do you need? More tasks? Kill some cockroaches? Unclog a drain? No. The property manager shakes her head. Her expression grows serious. I'm here to tell you the truth. She waves a hand and the data streams around us transform into images. The universe, countless planets burning, countless civilizations crying out, and at the source of all that destruction, a formless mass of black shadow. That, the property manager says, pointing at the shadow, is the unraveler, what your kind would call the void. The universe is dying. Chaos and entropy are consuming everything. The unraveler is the final boss. It has sensed your existence, and it is coming. It won't arrive in a spaceship like some alien. It is the law itself. It will try to rewrite your perception of reality, to show you the world as it truly is, and drive you mad in the process. So the battle ahead is no longer about fighting monsters. It's a war for the mind. The property manager steps toward me and extends her hand. Administrator, are you ready to remake this universe into exactly what you want it to be? I look at her hand. 3 seconds of silence. Then I yawn. All that drama, and what you're really saying is keep being a security guard and deal with troublemakers. That about right? I clap her on the shoulder. Relax. As long as the pay is right, I've got this neighborhood covered. And this unraveler, if it dares show up, a flash of gold crosses my eyes. The next day, noon. The hour when the sun should be at its harshest, but the entire city has fallen into a crawling, skin-prickling gray. The sky looks like static on an old television set that has lost its signal. A crackling, buzzing hum reverberates deep inside everyone's eardrums. Buildings and trees, even the edges of people on the street, begin to ghost and pixelate. An indescribable nausea rises in everyone's chest, the vertigo of something dimensional. On the library rooftop, Leon stares at the binoculars in his hand, which keep shifting shape. His face is white as paper. The laws of physics are failing. The gravitational constant is fluctuating. The speed of light is slowing down. Our world is being formatted by something from a higher dimension. Alara grips her sword, but the blade that could cut through iron like cloth now droops like a limp noodle. It's the void, Alara says, her voice trembling. I can't sense any spiritual energy, no killing intent, nothing. Just pure, absolute void. As if the meaning of everything that exists is being erased. Then, at the center of the static-filled sky, a black hole tears open. It isn't large, but the moment it appears, light, sound, and even time get sucked into it at a frantic rate. Then a creature squeezes itself out of that black hole. It is an unspeakable terror with no fixed form, a writhing, churning mass of black shadow that devours the space around it as it moves. It has a billion eyes, and in every single one, a destroyed universe is reflected. The sound it makes is the wailing of countless dead souls, enough to cause instant brain death in anyone who hears it. That is the Unraveler, the living embodiment of cosmic heat death, the final boss that devours all order. One glance and sanity collapses. The soul dissolves into nothing. On the ground below, countless people with weaker minds begin clawing at their own faces, blood streaming from their eyes. They babble incoherently. The end of the world has truly arrived. But on the outskirts of Bay City, I've just woken up, rubbing the sleep from my eyes, grumpy and bleary, pushing open the balcony door. So loud. Who's doing construction at this hour? Are they ever going to finish? All that crackling and buzzing? Are they drilling through walls or grinding metal? I yawn and look up at the sky. Through the property manager's powerful perception filter, I don't see any unspeakable shadow. I don't see a billion eyes. What I see is a mosquito, a huge, pitch-black, grotesquely ugly mosquito, the spotted kind, with a proboscis that's dripping fluid. It hangs in midair, rubbing its front legs together. Its buzzing is maddening. What I absolutely cannot stand, little clouds of black dust drift off this mosquito and settle, bit by bit, onto my freshly washed laundry. My freshly washed laundry. In my mind, those black void particles are mosquito droppings. This cannot be tolerated. If the tide was just stray dogs causing trouble, then this mosquito has crossed my hygiene line. System warning. System warning. The mechanical voice in my head sounds choppy now, like it's buffering. It's under heavy interference. Final boss, the Unraveler descending. Target is emitting a full area intelligence suppression field. System firewall overloading. Perception filter fracturing. Warning. Host may perceive the true nature of reality. If true nature is perceived, close your eyes. Do not look directly. Do not think. As the system alarm blares, my vision suddenly blurs. In that instant, the mosquito twists and warps. It becomes a vortex of black so deep it induces terror on instinct. Inside the vortex, an enormous face leers, assembled from the wreckage of countless dead stars. My heart clenches. A primal shudder shoots through every nerve in my body. That is the biological terror of death, the fear of pure nothingness. What is this? I murmur, my hands and feet going cold. Is this the truth the system warned me about? Have I been living inside a terrifying illusion all along? Sensing the fear in my eyes, the Unraveler pulsates with satisfaction. Mortal, you are finally awake. Look at this world, it was always an illusion. Only oblivion is eternal. Kneel, merge with me, become part of the void. The voice carries an endless seductive pull, trying to shatter every wall in my mind. If I kneel, the laws of Earth collapse entirely, and human civilization ceases to exist. But at that razor's edge of a moment, I shake my head hard. I slap myself across the face. Wake up? I haven't even gone back to sleep yet. I take a deep breath. My eyes harden again. Harder and more stubborn than before. Void this, oblivion that. Stop playing God on my turf. On Kevin's watch, there is no void. There is only mess that hasn't been cleaned up yet. The moment those words leave my mouth, an invisible force erupts from within me. That is the power of a solidified worldview. The sheer force of my materialist perspective, already so entrenched it bends reality itself. In the sky, the terrifying vortex that just showed its true face gets grabbed by an invisible hand and squeezed back into shape. The black fog clears. The leering face is gone. It's a mosquito again. rubbing its legs together, and clearer than ever. I can see every vein in its wings. Ding. Perception fully restored. Achievement unlocked. Terminator of idealism. You have successfully reduced the universe's ultimate terror into a blood-sucking pest. Please begin your performance. I let out a cold laugh. Now that's more like it. Being ugly isn't your fault. Coming out here to frighten people, that part's on you. If you're a mosquito, I deal with you like a mosquito. I turn and head back inside. This time, I don't grab the flyswatter. A flyswatter's not quite enough for a mosquito this size, and it'd make a mess. I head straight to the storage room and dig through a pile of junk until I find it. A strange-looking machine. An old industrial vacuum cleaner. Yellow body, thick with dust, hose cracked in one spot. I picked it up at a second-hand market a while back. The seller said it came from a shuttered chemical plant. Suction so strong it could pull in a brick. Old friend, it's been a while. I give it a pat. A cloud of dust erupts. I grab the thickest extension cord I have and run it down from the second floor. The motor roars to life with the rumble of a tractor. I haul the vacuum head up to the balcony, level it at the giant mosquito in the sky, and take a stance like I'm shouldering a rocket launcher. Hey, you, the one rubbing its legs, look over here. The unraveler freezes. It cannot comprehend. Its psychic attack clearly worked moments ago, so why has this human already recovered? And what is that noisy yellow barrel? Some soul-targeting weapon? A relic cannon left behind by an ancient civilization? Foolish insect. You think you can resist? Screw you, get in here. I'm not interested in listening to a mosquito talk. I press the red button on the vacuum. The motor screams to full power with a roar like a dragon. At the same time, I pour my peak innate energy into this beaten-up machine like it costs nothing. System notice, loading law, all things return to dust. This vacuum is now connected to the void abyss, theoretically capable of absorbing every particle of dust in the entire galaxy. An incomprehensible suction force explodes from the end of the black plastic hose. It doesn't target solid matter, it targets filth. High in the sky, the unraveler, which had been poised to devour the earth, suddenly feels weightless. Its body, made of pure void, begins to stretch and warp beyond its control. It trails into wisps of black smoke streaming toward the tiny plastic tube. No, what is this force? This is law-level absorption. Are you some ancient god who devours the stars? Ancient god, please. This is a high-powered motor. I grip the vibrating hose with both hands. My slippers can barely keep hold of the floor. Come on, that's for the dust on my laundry. That's for all the buzzing. Under the gaze of all humanity, the scene is equal parts absurd and awe-inspiring. The mass of black shadow in the sky, the symbol of all despair, gets sucked in like a toilet flush, letting out a shriek as it spirals into a massive black funnel. The narrow end of that funnel connects directly to the vacuum in my hands. Release me. I am the unraveler. I am the end of the universe. I cannot be sucked into something this filthy. Stop running your mouth. Sweat pours down my forehead. I let out a roar. A sharp pop, like a suction cup being pulled loose, and the enormous mosquito in the sky, even with every last ounce of its power, cannot withstand the fury of a janitor. It collapses into a wisp of black smoke, and with a whoosh, gets sucked into the hose. The vacuum's body shudders violently, releases a gurgling rumble like indigestion, and then goes quiet. The static sky disappears, the nauseating dizziness is gone, sunlight returns, bright and sharp. I switch off the vacuum and pat its hot, vibrating body. Great lung capacity on this thing. I pop open the lid and peer inside. Nestled in the dust bag, amid the dust and dog hair and cracker crumbs, lies a mosquito the size of a fingernail, pitch black and gleaming. All 6 legs twitching faintly, clearly dizzy from the ride. Oh, it shrank. Impressive compression. I let out a laugh and snap the lid back on. I find a roll of wide tape and seal the vacuum's opening airtight. Congratulations, Administrator. You have successfully cleared the universe's largest illegal structure. However, one small issue remains, and will require your attention. My eye twitches. Can you not just tell me everything at once? The Unraveler's energy output is too high. The vacuum may explode. This building may achieve unintended liftoff. Final step, how to convert this bag of cosmic waste into something useful. The moment I hear liftoff, I snap to attention. Convert it? I've been needing a gas source. That thing's got plenty of energy. Can I convert it into a nuclear-powered stove? I think it through while digging a rubber hose out of my toolbox, and a pressure regulator I picked up at a scrapyard. I drag the vacuum to the kitchen. One clean cut with the scissors, the exhaust port is off. With the dexterous hands of someone who's been living alone for 24 years, I attach the regulator and hose in seconds. The other end goes into the gas intake of the stove. I crank the valve open. A sharp, teeth-aching hiss of pressurized flow. Inside the vacuum, the Unraveler, the final boss that tried to unmake the universe, suddenly finds itself pulled through a narrow rubber hose by a force it cannot resist. I press the ignition switch. A flame erupts from the burner, pure black, edged in gold, with a core of absolute void. The fire has no heat, but the moment it appears, it burns a hole through the kitchen space itself, revealing a swirling cascade of colors beyond. The system whispers in awe, flawless work. Congratulations, Administrator. You have invented the cleanest, highest energy void furnace in the universe. This flame does not burn gas, it burns causality, it burns concepts. Food cooked over this fire, even a stir-fried shoe sole, becomes an elixir of immortality. I adjust the airflow knob with satisfaction. That star-destroying black flame is dialed down to a gentle little flicker. Good, gas problem solved. I glance at the empty fridge. Fire but no food, that won't do. Today's a day worth celebrating. World peace restored, gotta make it count. I reach for my phone to order delivery, then remember the whole city just survived the tide. The delivery riders are probably all at home recovering from the shock. No one's taking orders right now. Then, a careful tentative knock at the courtyard gate. Who is it? Outside stand 3 people, Leon, Alara, and a middle-aged man bound with rope, kneeling on the ground and trembling. Drake, head of the Drake family. Leon carries 2 enormous coolers. Alara holds several clay-sealed jars of aged wine. Senior Kevin, hope we're not disturbing your rest. We've come to make a report. Leon beams from ear to ear. His tone is so reverent it's like he's standing before a god. Making a report? And you brought all this? That's bribery. I wipe the cooking oil off my hands. No, it's a care package. Leon quickly opens one of the coolers. A dense wave of spiritual energy surges out, so thick it condenses into mist in the air. Inside, thick, beautifully marbled cuts of meat, each glowing faintly gold. Inferno-line thigh meat, one bite of which could push a martial artist to Grandmaster level. Genuine divine flesh. Ding. Premium ingredient detected, triple S grade Wagyu, Divine Beast Edition. Source, generous neighbors. Recommended preparation, red braised or hot pot. Good marbling. Grain-fed, clearly. Alright, if it's a care package, I'll accept it. Just got the gas sorted, too. Was thinking hot pot. Since you're here, don't leave. Stay and eat. At the words, stay and eat, Leon and Alara both go rigid. Their eyes blaze with barely contained joy. A home-cooked meal with a living god. What an opportunity. The 2 of them nearly drop to their knees right then and there. Drake, who is already kneeling, has gone the color of ash. Who's this? Why is he still kneeling? Oh, he's here to contribute ingredients. When he heard Senior was hosting a hot pot gathering, he brought the family's 100-year-old 9-life herb. Alara gives Drake a cool, level look. Drake is nobody's fool. He immediately bows his head to the ground, over and over. Yes, I'm just here to deliver ingredients. Senior, I was wrong. I swear I'll never litter again. Alright, get up. It's a good day. No need to be on your knees. Since you brought ingredients, come in and help wash them. I wave him inside. 10 minutes later, the kitchen is a deeply surreal sight. Drake, worth billions, crouches by the sink, trembling as he washes the priceless 9-life herb. Alara rolls up her sleeves, cleaver in hand, slicing through the iron-hard divine beast meat. Her flowing windsword technique is now entirely devoted to meat slicing, each piece thin as a cicada's wing. General Leon handles the table setting, arranging the bowls and chopsticks in a formation as precise as a military parade, and I stand before the modified void furnace stove, pouring oil into a large iron pot. Under the heat of that black void flame, the ordinary cooking oil immediately transforms. The smoke rising from the oil takes the shape of dragons and phoenixes spiraling together. I grab a handful of Sichuan peppercorns, dried chilies, scallions, ginger, and garlic, and throw them all in at once. An overwhelming aroma explodes outward, something beyond the human world, blending the Unraveler's law energy with the divine fat of a celestial beast. Just one breath of that scent, and Drake, still washing the herbs, feels the bottleneck at his peak innate level crack open. I've broken through to Grandmaster. Drake stares at the herb in his hand, tears streaming down his face, just from breathing in cooking smoke, and he's broken through. If he actually eats a piece of meat, he might ascend on the spot. Soon, a roaring, rolling pot of spicy hot pot, breathing out an aura of primordial chaos, is placed on the table. Come on, sit down. The place isn't much, nothing fancy to offer. The wine's yours, the meat's yours. I just contributed the hot pot base. I wave everyone to their seats. Leon, Alara, and Drake sit down with great care. They stare at the bubbling broth. That's not soup, it's a liquefied energy storm. Every peppercorn in there is cycling through the lifespan of a star. Eat, don't be shy. I pick up a slice of meat with my chopsticks. I swish it through the broth 7 times up and down, then eat it in one bite. High energy protein absorbed, constitution plus 100, strength plus 100, undying body evolving into undying constitution. I just feel a pleasant warmth spreading through my stomach. Nice. Seeing this, the others carefully pick up their own slices and place them in their mouths. The meat dissolves on the tongue, and a surge of wild energy floods every limb and bone. Alara, who started at innate realm, feels her cultivation rocket upward under the impact of that energy. Peak innate, Grandmaster. Peak Grandmaster, Supreme Grandmaster. From a single slice of meat, she leaps across 3 tiers every martial artist dreams of, and becomes an earthen immortal. Her skin becomes luminous as snow. Faint sword cries echo around her. She looks like she might ascend right then and there. The great Tao is hiding in this hot pot. This single piece of meat is the rebirth that comes after every trial endured. Alara sets down her chopsticks, eyes glistening. Leon is equally stunned. His years of internal injuries heal in an instant. He looks 20 years younger. His presence becomes immeasurable. As for Drake, he's sobbing openly. This meal goes on until the world outside loses all sense of day and night. Rounds of drinks flow. Course after course follows. I'm just slightly buzzed when I stand up and say, "All right, everyone head home. Got work tomorrow." The next day, Bay City returns to its familiar calm. The streets are still being repaired, but every face glows with the smile of a survivor. The legend of Slipper Guy continues to spread through the city, but the authorities have issued a top-level gag order. No one is to disturb that senior's daily life. At the library entrance, I sit on my familiar little stool in my faded security uniform, holding my chipped enamel mug. Sunlight falls on me, warm and easy. I take a sip of tea. In my mind, the property manager's voice speaks one final time. "Administrator, the world has been reset. Your perception law now covers this universe completely. From this day forward, demons are pets, gods are neighbors, and disasters are household chores. Wishing you a pleasant life. Beep. System entering stealth mode. I set down my mug and watched the traffic flowing by. This is life. Then, out of nowhere, a green-headed fly comes buzzing over. No sense of self-preservation whatsoever. It lands right on the rim of my mug. My eyes sharpen. That familiar presence, the presence of a god-tier janitor, surges back to life. I slowly raise the flyswatter in my hand. Bold little pest, how dare you drink my tea?